Hello, it is Jessica. Welcome back to Jessie Kate Creates. In today's video, I have a Father's Day card tutorial for you guys, but I wanted to do things a little bit differently, and I wanted to kind of take you through the process of what I'm thinking when I'm planning out a card. Okay, so for this card, like I said, I'm making a Father's Day card, and the inspiration for this card is these little shaker stickers from Jolie's Boutique. So I hope you can see they're little beer bottles and they have little beads in them that shake. So I thought these were really fun. Now I picked these up at least one, if not maybe at least a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I did a haul. Michael's was having like a crazy sticker sale and I like way overbought. But if you want to see the haul of that video, I'll go ahead and put that up here. So these have been in my stash for a little bit. When I purchased these, I knew I wanted to make a Father's Day card with them, so I'm finally making that happen. Now I have kind of like what I'm thinking is going to be the focal point of the card. Next, I need a sentiment to go with it. So whenever I see like beer bottles or wine glasses, I think cheers makes for a really good sentiment. So I went through my stash and I looked through my collection, just trying to find something with the word cheers in it. And what I came across was this stamp set. It's called Art Deco by Neat and Tangled. And I'm so sorry, guys, but I know that this is retired. I've had this for years and I know they no longer make this stamp set. However, you don't need this exact stamp set. You know, maybe you're making this card for another occasion, or maybe you have a different cheers stamp in your set that you want to use. It's not about the set. It was just about finding the words that I needed. And I do find myself coming back to this stamp set a lot because it does have a lot of really great basic words for card making, like congrats, thanks, cheers, happy anniversary, you know, things like that. So I do find myself using that a lot, but you can find words like that in a lot of basic sentiment stamp sets. So just look through your stash and see what you have that you can use. Okay, so I know I want to use this cheers, so I'm actually gonna put it with the stickers. And the next thing I wanted to look for, I wanted it to say like cheers dad. So then I looked through my stash to see if I had any stamps or dies that I thought would fit the bill. And I came across this set. This is a stamp and die set from the Greetery called Dad Squared. So it's a stamps and then a matching die set. I believe this is retired as well. But what I ended up using was just this this die that spells out dad. So as long as you have alphabet dies in your collection, you could easily recreate this just using alpha dies. You don't need this exact stamp or die. Okay. So I have cheers and dad. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is start playing around with ideas for how I want to place things on this card. So the first thing, one of the thoughts I was kind of thinking was that it could be fun to maybe have like, it could be fun to have like multiple beer bottles, right? So right now, this is just a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 80-pound cardstock. This is just to help me kind of get an idea and plan things out. I'm not crazy about that. The other thing that I'm thinking when I'm doing this too is I have craft fairs coming up ahead of Father's Day. So it would be really nice if I could get multiple cards out of these stickers, so I could have multiple cards on hand for craft shows. So if we just take one of these, we could do something like this. Cheers, Dad. That could be cute. Oh, I like that. Okay. That's cute, right? Cheers, Dad. I like that. I think that generally is cute, but it needs more than just this. So it could be fun if we like split the panel, maybe like going like a diagonal split or like halfway. Oh, that would be cute. Let's split it like here maybe. Okay, so now I'm going to look through my stash for some, I think I want a piece of pattern paper down here on the bottom of the card. So I'm going to look through my stash for a pattern paper that I think will kind of fit the dad vibes of this card. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I looked through my stash and I found a piece of brick pattern paper that I really like the vibe of. And that pattern paper is from... Here we go. This is the Surfaces by Recollection paper pad. I do think that Michaels still has this paper pad in stock, so if I can find it, I will go ahead and put a link in the description box below the video. I like this pad because it just has a lot of different like textures that you can add to a card. So I flipped through it until I found this really fun brick paper. Of course, you don't have to use brick if you don't want to use brick. I was just looking for something that kind of felt a little masculine, I guess, and this is what fit the bill. But like I said, I just want a small little strip at the bottom because I'm thinking maybe just, you know, something like boom, and then our sentiment, and then cheers. How much of the card do we want it to take up? I feel like I've made a Christmas card kind of like this before. I'm not certain, but kind of like that. So what is that? Roughly 2 inches? Okay. I'm liking where this is going, but I think the background is too plain for me. So one of my favorite things to do when I have a lot of white space on a card is to emboss it. So now I'm going to go look for an embossing folder that I think would work well for this background. Okay, so I looked through my stash of embossing folders, and at first I thought I was going to go with something geometric, but then I came across this Doris embossing folder. I think it's called License Plate. I think it's retired as well, unfortunately, but you can see it just has a bunch of license plates on the background, and I thought that would pair and be really cute with the brick, and I think it definitely gives off some masculine vibes, so I want that in the background. So now it's time to start actually like putting all of this together now that I have a loose idea. And I think I'm gonna want this to be on a black card base. I am die cutting this. So I think since a lot of these bottles have silver accents, I hope you can see that, like, well, they also, some of them have gold, but they all have like little silver tops. And some of them have gold and silver, but they all have at least silver on them. So I think I'm going to die cut this out of silver. And I think I've mentioned before, when I have multiple, like a metallic accent on a card, if possible, I like to have it in 3 places. So it's going to be on the die, it's going to be on the top of the bottles, and so I think I'm also going to cut a matting layer to go on this as well. Yeah, so that there will be silver in multiple places. Okay, so I'm going to die cut some things out, cut some things down, and come back when I have like all the bits and pieces ready to go. Okay, so I've cut some things out, and this is where we're at now. I have a panel of 80-pound cardstock that measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I also have a piece of silver cardstock, silver foiled cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4. So these are going to be matting layers, and they're going to mat like this onto my card base. And then I also cut out a strip of pattern paper that will go across the bottom like that, and it is 3 7/8 by 2 inches. And I didn't include all of the cutting and figuring out of the video because that just, I mean, you probably didn't want to watch me spend forever trying to figure out how to cut my my paper down. So that's where we're at. I also went ahead and die cut out the elements to make the word dad. Oh my gosh. See, so I cut them out of silver, and then I also cut 2 layers out of white, and I'm going to go ahead and stack those up. And then I also need to put the word cheer on here. So actually, let's do that next, because I need to stamp the sentiment before I emboss. I need to stamp the sentiment before I emboss my paper. So let's do that next. So I'm gonna pull out my Misty. Here we go. To help me figure out the positioning on this. Okay. Oh, did you guys see that? How it just like went right to the die or to the magnet? Let's hope it doesn't do that again. There we go. I think I'll have it lined up like there. Like, I think that's good. So then I want the cheers. Do I want it closer? I don't want it right to the edge. I think I do like having the word, and then the bottle can kind of go. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, I think I like that. That's cute. Okay. So I just need to make sure that the word cheers is straight on my card. I'm gonna pull this off screen I like to get my head directly over it, and I can't because you guys are in the way, so I can film. So I'm gonna take this off screen just to make sure it's lined up, and then I'll bring it right back. Okay, so I got it pressed down. Now I can take these pieces out and just stamp down my sentiment. For the sentiment, I'm just going to stamp this in VersaFine pigment ink in the color Onyx Black. This is my go-to black ink because it gives you a really beautiful crisp impression. And it doesn't tend to like bleed out even when you stamp it multiple times. But it is a pigment ink, so it does take a little bit to dry. So I'm going to set this off to the side now. And while that is drying, we're going to stack up our letters. I'm just using my nails to get rid of some of the little like fuzzy bits on the die. So I think I've showed this in a video before, but when I stack die cuts, I like to use liquid adhesive so that I can wiggle things around. And I just use the edges of my fingers to make sure everything is lined up. There's some hairs on here that makes it look like it's not lined up, so I'm just using my nail to get rid of those. And then making sure everything is aligned. That looks good. This, I really like the dimension that it adds to a card when you stack up die cuts. It makes it really pop off the page, in my personal opinion. But if you don't like to do that, then you definitely don't have to. If you just want to cut the one layer out of silver, you could always do that instead, and it would still make a really cool card. Okay, now I'm gonna add the silver layer, and I'm gonna cut the rest of these off screen just to save some time, because I know this is going to be a longer video since I'm kind of going through my whole like thinking process when I am making a card. Okay. So I'll come back once I have all of these stacked together. Okay, so I've gone ahead and stacked up my letters, and those are ready to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is emboss my sentiment, or not my sentiment, but my panel. And just something I've started to do. I don't do it to I haven't done it to all my plates yet, but something I've started doing recently is on my embossing folder, putting a little label that lets me know the best sandwich for embossing that particular folder. So for a lot of these thinner Darice like 2D folders, just like my 2 plastic plates works really well, which is nice because when I'm like making, I don't have to sit there and stop to think like, what is it that I need to do? It's just like some of the thinking has been done by past me for future me, and I really like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and emboss this. And since the paper is gonna cover up some of the bottom, I don't need to emboss the full thing. That'll actually make it a little easier for me to put down. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this through. And since this pattern isn't like perfectly straight, I don't have to worry about my paper being perfectly straight, but I am gonna run this through my machine and we'll be right back. Okay, so that's what that looks like now. I think this looks so cool. Okay, so next I'm going to, which way? I think it goes this way. I'm gonna go ahead and glue on my pattern paper. Okay. I think this is the right way. Again, just using wet glue so I have a little bit of time to wiggle things around and get everything lined up. Okay, that looks good. All right, so next it's time to add the sentiment. I think just trying to figure out kind of where I need to put them down before I put them down. Does that make sense? I think I want it over just a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. I think I like that. So I'm going to put down the A first, and I'm going to try to have the top of the A aligned with the edge of the pattern paper. Just as like a little... Oh, you know what, actually? Before I put those on, I'm going to adhere these two together. And I think with metallic cardstock, using my dry adhesive probably would have been a little bit better, but honestly, it's out of reach right now. It's beyond arm's length away from me, and the glue is right here on the table. So sometimes that's how I make my decisions. What is already nearby? I actually think I have a whole video like that on my channel where I was supposed to be cleaning my craft room, but I got distracted by all the stuff that was on my desk. And so I just used the scraps on my desk to make a card because they were all right there. I think I made a video like that at least. If I did, I will go ahead and link it up here if you want to see that. Okay, there we go. That's down. Do I want to put this on the card? Should I wait? Nope, I'm putting it down. Okay. So again, same thing. You could use dry adhesive here. If I had my tape gun next to me, I probably would use that, but this is what I got. So this is what's going down. So this is just a black A2 side folded card base. And the cardstock is from Recollections. For my card bases, I usually use either Accent Opaque 100 pound, 110 pound cardstock from Recollections that you just purchase at Michael's. But if Michael's doesn't have a color I like, then I'll buy something else. And I've really been into the Spellbinders heavyweight cardstock lately. It's really good. I actually think I'll have a video coming up where I use it to make some Christmas cards, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, so now that that's down, now I'm going to go ahead and add on the letters. And once again, I want to make sure I kind of have an idea for how I'm going to position these. I think that's good. And now I'll put them down. I really hope you guys, I hope this video has been, oh, let's try not to wipe all the glue off with our fingers. But I hope this video has been like helpful in kind of understanding the process when I make cards. Sometimes I will sketch out a card first, like I might have an idea for a card, but I can't really craft at the moment. So I'll go ahead and sketch it out. But sometimes it's just like this, where I have a particular item that's the inspiration, and then it's kind of how can I build a card around that. And it's trying out a lot of different things just to see what it is that is gonna work. Because sometimes you have an idea and you start to put it together and you're like, oh, I don't like this at all. And that happens sometimes in card making, or sometimes you have an idea and you put it together and it's wonderful. But it's just about kind of playing around and figuring out what you like and what works and what doesn't. And that's something I encourage everyone to do. Take time to play in your craft room. Don't always feel the pressure to make a card from start to finish. Okay, so now that's down. Beautiful. Oh no, that's not beautiful. When did that move? Okay. Is that better? I think it's gonna have to be. Okay, I think that's pretty good. There we go. So now we need to add our beer bottle to the card. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one. And now I will say a lot of times on stickers, I don't trust the adhesive and foam tape that come on the sticker. So I'm gonna take that off. It's usually pretty easy to lift up. If you can get a corner up and then just kind of roll your finger along it, you see how that pops right off. I need to grab foam tape. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Change of plans. Since this is already kind of thick, hope you can see that. This already has some thickness to it. And like I said, I do plan, I am going to give one of these to my dad, but I also plan to make some of these for a craft fair. And so if people are going to mail them, I actually don't want this to be super thick. So instead of using foam tape, I am just going to put these down with some glue. This is a place if you wanted to use like a dry adhesive, you could do that, but again, I don't have any near me at the moment, so I'm just going to use glue and then press it down for a few seconds. Sorry, my mat keeps wobbling. It's missing one of the little rubber grips on the bottom. I'm going to have to get something for that. Okay. Isn't that cute? I don't think I want to put sparkles on this card, but these bottles have little lids with them, so I might use that as an embellishment. Maybe like, oh, that's cute. We'll do that. There we go. I don't think it matters which way the star goes, right? We'll just do that. Okay. So we have a card, the front of a card. I love this. It shakes. It has all that texture. So fun. Now for the inside of the card. So for the inside of the card, I'm going to use this Happy, Happy, Happy set from Lawn Fawn. I think this is retired. I've had this for so many years. When I started paper crafting in like 2015, this was one of the first stamp sets I purchased. So it's probably retired. But you just need something that says Happy Father's Day. Or if you don't want a sentiment on the inside of your card, you don't have to, and you can write whatever you want. But I have noticed when I do craft fairs, a lot of times folks prefer it when there's a sentiment inside the card. So this is just a piece of, it's exact index 80-pound cardstock, but it feels more like a piece of 65-pound cardstock. But I need a liner for my card because this is a black card base. Although if you've watched my channel, then you probably know that even when I have white cards, I don't know, I just like putting a liner in the inside of the card for whatever reason. So this is just 4 by 5 1/4 so that it'll mat nicely inside the card. And I've already gone ahead and mounted my sentiment onto a stamping platform. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this down once again with that same black pigment ink. Just make sure that's in the corner. And perfect. I don't even need to stamp it a second time. Okay, so now I'm just going to adhere this to the inside of my card base. I'm going to try to be very careful not to smudge that black ink, because since it is pigment ink, it does take it a minute to dry, and I don't want to get that everywhere. There we go. Now, I don't have, at least when I was looking, I didn't see anything in my stash that had like a little beer bottle stamp, which maybe that's something I need to add to my collection. If I did have something like that, I'd stamp it on the inside of the card, like right here in the bottom, just to tie it all in, but I don't have anything like that, unfortunately. So this completes the card today. Just a really fun card. You could change up the sentiments and the little focal image to be whatever you need. This could be a really cute thank you or thinking of you card. Oh, maybe with like a floral background with like a butterfly and a flower paper. That could be really cute too. Yeah, so that's the card for today. I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope there were a couple tips in here that you liked along the way, and that it was helpful for you to see my thought process when I am laying out a card. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps YouTube know that folks like my video, and it helps other people find me here. If you want to catch all the videos I put out, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the notification bell, you'll get an alert every time I post a new video so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will see you in another video real soon. Bye. Have a great day. Bye.